Man, all right. You want to talk about Comic-Con?
Yeah.
All right,
well, I mean, I know it was like last minute for you because I know like you're trying to get shit set up for it, and obviously they took you at the last minute. But as soon as you got there, I guess what exactly?
Well, let me tell you what it is. I'm just gonna get straight to the point because it's not as bad as I'm making it sound. I actually did have a good time at Comic-Con.
I actually heard you were doing tweets and like the tweets were terrible.
I was pissed, man.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you. Okay, let me just get to what happened. Mm-hmm. Okay. First of all, I was a little intimidated because I was the only one going. I wanted everybody to go, or at least as many people, more than one.
Right.
And I was angling for you to go because you had never been. Mm-hmm. And when I get there, it's just me, which means that I'm being pulled between trying to cover things of the big news in Hall H. That's the big hall where they announce all the big movies that are coming up. The comic book movies. They show all the big, well, not just any, just a lot of movies, pretty much genre movies. Anything sci-fi, comic book, along those lines, adventure, action. And that's where they also show all the big trailers that are coming up too. So you get sneak peeks at stuff. You have the stars come out and they do press for all those events. And I thought it'd be cool to sit in there and do that. But they also had me answering, well, they didn't have me. I was answering a lot of requests for interviews. And this, okay, let me just get straight to the point here. And excuse me if I seem egotistical, but I think that all of us have paid our dues, man. Okay. This is a site that gets, I'm not going to say the number, but we get millions upon millions of hit every month. And when you invite us out to Comic-Con, I don't want to be given like the throwaway parts are. I don't want to be considered to be like, oh, you standing here with everybody and we're just going to give you snippets of an interview so you can be used as a media tool to promote our films. Right. Just simple. I think we're beyond that now. I think our interviews are different enough. I think we are able to help people who we're interviewing relax. And I think that we're able to get a real person behind that celebrity if given the chance. Yeah.
Well, I remember last year, I mean, the interviews that you did do they seemed like pretty thorough interviews. When you were talking to people, you just kind of shooting the shit. It seemed like you didn't really get that. It seemed like
no. This year, let's see. This is what bugged me. This year, they just seemed like they were really rushing people along more. Yeah. And it's always a crapshoot. Now, last year there were a couple of interviews that I went to because Hollywood arranged them. They was actually meant for Hollywood, and they sent me to do them. And that was where you got the interview with somebody like Rob Zombie. Where I was able to sit down and talk to him like a person. Yeah. Even though it was about 15 minutes or 10 minutes, I was able to talk to him in a room with nobody pushing him along. Right. And we were able to just open the conversation, made him laugh a little bit, and we got to talk for a little while. I'm not asking for much. I'm asking for like 10 minutes. Yeah. And this year, it seemed like they put you in these red carpet lines, which I was in last year, but they seemed like they weren't as rushed. And I don't like doing the red carpet anyway because, again, they only give you like a few minutes to like talk about the film.
And red carpet is basically when the star just goes from reporter to reporter. It's like like when you see like Entertainment Weekly or something where it's just they're going by going, hey, how does it feel to be in this movie? And they give an answer and then they leave.
And here's the problem with that. Last year I was able to sort of get around that. I don't know. Maybe I was just in the mood to do it and I was ready to deal with it. But if you go back and you look at some of those interviews that I did with people like Tim Burton or Paul Bettany or what's his name that directed 2012, Roland Emmerich. I was able to get something from them, but it was very short. And I really had to try hard to like figure out how to work around that and make it beneficial for us. Because really what I got out of them, I mean, I joked around a little bit, but it's nothing all that much different than what everybody else was posting. If you go on some other sites, if you see like people standing up and you see the Comic-Con logos behind them, that means they were on the red carpet and they're just given enough time to get the same answer that they're giving everybody else. Yeah. Now, I know that the companies look at us like not some major website, probably not major enough to go out and do more in-depth interviews. But I'm sorry, I feel like we are better than most of these people who do these soundbite interviews.
And what I wanted to ask is that is there a contact person that you know from last year and the year before that would probably know who we are. It's like, oh, okay, it's Korey. I know who he's.
Not yet. We haven't established that, and it's hard to establish that because what they do is they send out a mass email to the press people, and you reply back saying, yeah, oh yeah, I'd like to come to this press event, and then they decide how important you are and how much time you get and what format you get to talk to these people.
I'm curious how they go by doing that, like looking you up, well, if they even do that. You know?
Well, if you're known already, if you're like AP, or if you're one of the major sites that have become known now and as a major news site or one of the major geek sites or something like that, then if they know you, they're already like, that's fucking Hollywood, man.
Yeah,
if they know you, then it's
probably.
like, hey, okay, we cater to you and you get the best interview. If it's somebody like us that they don't know that well, they might give us something good, they might not. And it ranges anywhere from maybe a one-on-one with somebody, which is what you want, where you just sit down one-on-one and talk to someone like a fucking person, or they put you on the red carpet line, they put you in a round table. Round table is the worst to me because you're just sitting up there listening to somebody and everybody has to fight to get their question in and everybody gets the same material because everybody's recording the same thing. And
like South by Southwest, I guess.
Yeah, something like what we did with Predators.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm just tired, man. Maybe I'm just tired because, and this is what okay, if you want to know what really got me upset about that, this year I tried to go in and do something a little different because for us, we're not a site that does, oh, we got the news first.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's just not our thing.
Yeah.
And if you're not catering to these people in that manner, then it just throws them off. The case in point right here. So they put me on the line for Priest. Now, Priest is a movie that's coming out with Carl Urban, Paul Bettany, and a couple of other people I can't remember. Got put on the red carpet for that. I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's cool. I don't mind doing this if I can take the material and use it for something that we can make original. Yeah. I'm thinking we'll make an animated video out of this and make something humorous as well as promote the film because that's all they want you to do is promote the film. We mention these guys in this movie Priest along with the funny video that we make. Now, make no mistake here. It's not like I got in line and did this Howard Stern thing of asking these people offensive or stupid questions.
Like how big is your wife's tits or anything like that?
Nothing like that. I would never do that to somebody myself. I don't have the balls to do it, and I think these guys, for all the bitching that I'm doing, these stars and celebrities, they got enough to deal with. I mean, it's monotonous for them. I understand that. And I thought, in my mind, they would appreciate something a little different. So all I simply did was, I said, you know what? I could ask these people to tell stories, and then we can make videos out of the stories that they tell. I mean, I think that it would suit us because we're not getting the same stock answers that they're giving. And it would make them feel okay because they're not giving the same answer that they're giving to 20 people ahead of me.
Which would be nice. And that would be fucking great to have. But at the same time, it's like, it's one of those, it's one of those things that could go wrong, you know?
Well, well, it did go wrong in a way. Like I've done it before. Like I did it with Jonah Hill and John C. Reilly. And they actually thought it was cool.
And if you think about just who those people really are, I mean, they're into comedy, and they're into oddball things. So I'm sure something like that would cater to their personalities easily.
Yeah. Well, here's what happened here. So I'm in the middle of this red carpet. I'm thinking, what can I do to make this cool for us? And Carl Urban comes down. I asked him I said, so Carl, Carl, baby. No, I was like, Carl. Carly boy. So I said, hey, man, you've been answering the same questions over and over again. I'm going to ask you something a little different because I don't want to have you repeat the same thing. Just simply tell me a story. Tell me a story. It could be about your life, about how you got drunk last night. I mean, it could be from the set, anything. And he tells me this story about Paul Bettany. And Paul Bettany, the most recent movie people have probably seen him in is... What was that movie about the Angels?
Legion.
Yeah. Carl Urban recently played Bones in the remake of Star Trek. Not the remake, but the recent Star Trek. Yeah, the J.J. Abrams Star Trek. All right, so he's cool about it. He's like, well, I'll tell you a story about the set. So it was a scene where I was supposed to be stepping on Paul's hand and making him fall from a train, and I put my foot down, and I hear him scream. I'm thinking he's the best actor in the world because he shows so much pain. I realized, oh shit, I really put my foot down hard on his hand, and I felt really bad about that. Yeah. And so we joked around. It's like, okay, that's cool. Next guy comes up, and I asked him the same thing. Tell me a story, and he's like, story, okay. And he tells me about again Paul Bettany. He's like, oh, I got a story about Paul. So Paul is supposed to be on this badass motorcycle in this movie. Now on the set, he comes out on it, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, it's a cool bike. And then I look when he comes all the way out, and the motorcycle has training wheels on it. and I'm laughing at it, and I'm thinking, okay, all right, so that's kind of funny. I can see how this could actually work. Here's where it went wrong. And maybe it's all on my part, but I asked Paul Bettany. I said, hey, man.
Who you talked to last year.
But I didn't even play that shit. I didn't he didn't remember me.
Right.
I wasn't even like, hey, Paul, you remember? And I didn't even do that. Why would he?
Right.
So I just said, hey, you got your co-stars talking trash about you, man. One guy said that he stepped on your finger, had you crying like a sister. The other guy said you look crazy on his motorcycle with training wheels. And I thought since those other two guys had a sense of humor, I was like, man, what did they do? Give me some,
right.
Talk
Give me
about
some
them.
dirt on them.
Yeah. And I thought, with the stories they told, he would realize like, oh, it's just all in fun.
Yeah,
right. But, and I say, you don't even tell me that. Just tell me some story. We get drunk last night, have a good time, and anything. Just tell me something. He's like, and he looks at me, he's like, well, I don't really want to tell those kind of stories because those are my stories. I'm just like, fuck. Okay. Okay. I'm already thinking in my mind, this is gone fucking
wrong.
This is okay. I've said something.
How do I salvage this now?
Yeah. And I like, okay. I said, well, just tell me anything you like then. I'm really trying not to like sound like everybody else. And really, I'm thinking about them. I'm thinking like, how can I not bother them?
Right.
And he's like, story? I don't. And at this point, he's already thinking maybe I'm an asshole or something. I don't know. And this is what really irks me if he's thinking that. It's not because I did something offensive. It's because I didn't ask the same question everybody else asked.
Yeah, you
all of a sudden, he all of a sudden it's like this guy's fucking with me.
Yeah, or he probably feels like he's put on the spot now.
Yeah,
like he needs to entertain or something.
Yeah. And I wasn't, so he's thinking, and he's like, all right, here's a story, and it's at this point that I think he's fucking with me.
Oh, okay.
And this really upsets me because he's like, we're on the set. And this is a set that Wizard of Oz used to be on. And there's this hill in the background. And we go to this hill. And we start climbing this hill. And we say, you know what? This is fucking foam. It's foam. It's not CG. And I'm looking at him like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah. I'm like,
yeah.
And then you see somebody pulling him away. And I'm just like, and it's probably in my mind, like, no, to be fair, it's probably all in my mind. He was fucking with me. Maybe he was telling a real story because
maybe he was. Yeah. But you know what? And once again, not a lot of people are good at telling stories, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah. But my point here is that I just don't like doing that. I don't like being used. I mean, we're not a bunch of chumps, man. Right. Okay, we don't do this red carpet shit. We don't give sound bites. We're not fucking media tools. Okay, forgive me if I sound like we're better than now, but yes, we are. Yeah. We're better than that. After all the interviews that we've done before, and that we've actually made people look like real people, and that we've gotten good things out of them. Right. I'm not doing this shit anymore of settling for less and having to do these like soundbite interviews. That's fucked up to me.
And I don't blame you. I mean, the thing is that's why I was asking if there's like a contact person, somebody who knows what we've done, who's probably seen our work. And I know that's like, I know Comic-Con, I can understand where it's just getting bigger and bigger every year. And there's so many websites, entertainment websites that are popping up so much, and I'm sure all they're thinking about is like, you know what, I'm surprised it hasn't really gone down to an assembly line but it sounds like it pretty much already is. That's
what it is.
Yeah.
And before somebody complains about us and saying, or complain about me, saying like, you are just complaining and you don't get it. There's so many people there. What makes you so special? Yeah. Look, I understand from their point of view. I do. I'm not complaining so much about them doing what they have to do. I'm saying that for us, I feel like we're above that.
Right. And the thing is, it is, I mean,
I understand what they have to do.
And that's something that honestly, you're right. I mean, I thought you hit it right on the head as far as, we're not a site that does like movie news type shit. That's not our main forte where it's like, hey, look at this picture up here. This is from the new movie or whatever. We don't cater to that at all. Yeah. Really. I mean, it's on our page, but that's not our strong suit. And, I don't blame you for, I mean, you're ambitious and a very ambitious person. And I don't blame you. I'd be doing the same thing just to make it a little bit different. And you want to do it because, you also want to give those stars, like you want to let them know, hey, you know what? I'm a fan, and I give a shit. let's do something a little different. Let me try to help you from the monotony of what this is. Yeah. But, I can also see where some people would love to do something like that and others probably wouldn't because, and I think a lot of times some people don't even want to be there a lot.
No, and that's the problem. That's why, because listen, and I'm not even saying I want to make it funny. Right. All I know is I've done interviews and I know my skill level right now and I know how I can get something from people that is interesting. Yeah.
I've seen you do that. I've heard your interviews.
Yeah. For me, the best interviews that I like to hear, and I'm just doing what I would think I would like to hear. I don't like listening to sound bites of people just repeating the same shit. Right. I like to listen to interviews where people actually are giving you something about themselves and not just constantly promoting. Mm-hmm. I don't mind somebody saying, this is the movie I'm in, go see it. Mm-hmm. But after that, let's hear what you have to say about yourself or about something other than go see this movie. I want people to be real people. I want them to be seen as informative, funny human beings.
Yeah. And that's great because honestly that's what majority of people want to hear. Even people who aren't into the whole comic book scene or even into the whole genre of films thing like Comic-Con caters to, where they want to hear this actor who they heard of before seeing in other movies. They want to hear them talk about something relating to themselves. Each of these stars has a fan base, and you kind of want to cater to that as far as showing them, hey, they're just normal people. Yeah. And let's hear a funny, interesting story that more than likely we won't read in an interview, or in a magazine. Just something off the wall. And I don't blame you for doing that.
And let me tell you something. That wasn't even a thing that made me upset. I walked out of there upset after something else happened earlier. That was the thing that just at the last, that was the last straw right there. For me. I mean, by the time that happened in that interview, I totally understood what they were about. I just walked out and I was like, okay, this just didn't work out. It's just not the right format. They probably just weren't interested in what I was doing. They didn't even know what I was doing. It's like they don't know what I'm trying to do. They know that they have to go out there and answer these questions, and they're probably braced for that, and they just want to get in and get out and go. They don't want to be put on the spot where they have to really think. I can understand some people really don't want to think. They already got a stock answer in their head. Yeah. Because I can tell you, man, the two people on either side of me asked the same thing. They started out saying this. So, how's your Comic-Con? And I couldn't believe, I was like, man, they just fucking, they just, and they answered the same, oh, it's great, it's the same. Yeah. I was like, wow, they must really be ready for this. Yeah. Because I wouldn't lose my mind having to do that.
Oh, no. And if you really think about it, too, it's like those people who get paid to ask those very monotonous questions. I mean, a lot of those panels that, like the Kick-Ass one that I watched on the site, hearing the audience members, the audience Q&As, I mean, they really weren't that much different from some reporter who's getting paid a lot of money just to go, so how's your experience here at Comic-Con? No. I mean, it's like, what is the difference between a panel questions, which I honestly, I've grown to hate. Because listening to a lot of questions at a lot of panels sometimes, those things can go so just wrong. And you almost kind of feel embarrassed for the actors that they're up there, they're up on the spot, and really, I can't imagine what's going to go through somebody's head wondering, okay, there's a guy dressed up as a fucking fat Flash, what kind of question is this guy going to give me? Should I really got to buckle down? Because it could be something embarrassing. You just don't know,
Well, let me tell you, man, some of those people who ask questions, some of the audience members who ask questions, some of them, they knew how to make it entertaining. Yeah. There was one guy, and I'm sure he's gotten a lot of attention for this. There was one guy who was dressed up like, what's the guy? Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh, Hunter
S. Thompson. Yeah. He was dressed up like Hunter S. Thompson, and every time he got up there, the audience just they cracked up and they just applauded, and he was good. He performed.
Oh yeah.
He actually was in character, and he timed it right too. Like when the camera would cut on him, he'd be first in line. The camera would cut to him, and he'd just sit there and just stare until the audience stopped laughing. It was almost like a Saturday Night Live sketch where you see a character that you like or a setup that you know is happening. You wait for the audience to finish laughing, and then they had the Star Trek guy who was the red shirt, so he was in he had a broken arm and a neck brace, and he had a headband on and a bandage on his head. Yeah, there were some people who really knew how to work, and that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. They made it interesting, and they also asked pretty cool questions too. But here's what really got to me earlier that day. I was in a situation where people were getting the kind of interviews that I liked, and it was for Tron Legacy. I go in there, and it's real cool at first. I'm thinking, man, I'm glad to be here. so it's early in the morning. I walked into this building that they call Flynn's Arcade. Everybody knows Flynn's Arcade. It's been at Comic-Con for 3 years. Flynn, of course, is from a character. It was a Jeff Bridges character from Tron. Yeah. And so Flynn's Arcade looks just like it is in the movie. You walk in, they got the video game set up to the side. Badass. And if you watch the trailer, there's a Tron game that they pull back and it goes into a secret room. So for this interview, you pull the Tron game back and you actually start going down this dark corridor.
Oh, badass.
And you walk down this hallway with this blue strobe light and you turn in and you see off in the distance this room they have set up with this neon light floor, tables on the walls, and then there's blue neon reflected all over the place too. And then there's a huge video screen where they have imagery that looks like a Tron motif going on.
Wow. And that's like a budget of a small independent film, probably.
That was
how much they put into that. That's
they could have fed, so many poor families for a year with
really
the budget they put in that one room.
Yeah, it's like they had carpenters work on that.
Wow. So you go in there, and I was thinking, man, this is pretty badass. I can't wait to do this. Now, they tell me that the person I'm interviewing is Bo Garrett. I think they actually meant because there's another guy named, I think, Jarrett, something Garrett in the movie. Bo Garrett was the actress I was interviewing. I think the main actor in the movie, his last name is Garrett. Okay. And then I thought maybe they had some mix up and I was supposed to interview two people, like one of the producers or director, or maybe Jeff Bridges would even be in on. I didn't know who this person Bo Garrett was, so I thought that was a mix up. Turns out Bo Garrett is one of the characters in the movie. She's as far as I can tell right now, she's a minor character. Have you ever heard of Bo Garrett?
No.
Okay, that's what
I've heard of Mrs. Garrett.
Yeah, I would have loved an interview with her.
I know. I was like, wow, you got to interview Mrs. Garrett? I was like, wait a minute, Mrs. Garrett? Yeah. Mrs. Garrett is in fucking Tron?
Yeah. Miss Garrett. You know what? I have to admit something to you. When I was a kid and saw episodes of Facts of Life, I had the biggest thing for Mrs. Garrett because she had a rack on her.
I believe it.
Yeah. Mrs. Garrett had the best cleavage in the world.
She did. Even though she was old, she still had a great set of tits for an old lady.
Oh, hell yeah. She's still alive too.
I just saw her in a movie recently.
Yeah, don't mess with the Zohan.
Yes. And I was like, which actually I thought it was kind of funny. I only caught halfway through it, but I was like, why is that old lady look for Mrs. Garrett?
Put your clothes on.
How dare you?
But man, so I'm talking to this person, Bo Garrett. She's actually really cool. Even though nobody's really heard of her,
she hasn't made it.
Yeah, exactly. She's probably about to blow up. She plays one of the sirens in the movie. The sirens are these women who come out and they prep the people who've been brought into the Tron world for battle. All right, I thought, something, this might actually work because I'm not really, really interested in big celebrities if they can actually give me a good interview and tell me something cool about their experience and about this movie. She might have some insight on this movie that, somebody bigger doesn't.
Yeah.
And plus she was so gracious, man. She was just happy to be in this movie. She's happy to work. She was happy to do the interview. She was really happy that somebody was talking to her.
And that's usually how it is with these up and coming stars. And the thing is, I always tell people, if you're ever in that situation, because I remember being at one of the festivals and I heard this guy complaining that he was being put in a room with a lot of stars that he didn't even know. He was like, they put me in some room with some guy who's like a minor character. And I was like, why are you bitching? That character, that guy can go on to be somebody huge someday.
You don't know what
that could be the next Tom Cruise for all you fucking know.
Just take it and work with it. I mean, you never know. If you get an interesting interview is an interesting interview.
Yeah.
That depends on the interviewer to make it interesting. If you can't do that with anybody that you have, that's your fault.
You need to go fucking work at McDonald's.
Granted, you would prefer to have some of the bigger actors and actresses. Let's not fuck around here, But if you can't, you work with what you got.
Exactly.
I'm not that egotistical where I'm thinking like, hey, how come I'm not sitting in front of fucking Jeff Bridges?
Yeah, where the fuck is Jeff Bridges? Who the fuck is this? She could be a fucking light cycle for all I give a shit about. Give me a fucking star in here. My time is valuable.
How dare you? Yeah. No, but the problem was, we sit down, we start talking. It's about 4 minutes. 4 minutes and somebody comes up behind me giving me the signal to get up. And I'm thinking, 4 minutes, what the fuck can I do with 4 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay? I thought I had a little bit more time than that. And then I don't say anything. I'm like, fuck it. All right, whatever. I probably won't use this because it's useless. There's nothing here. I didn't have time to prepare for like a 4-minute interview. I wish I had known. I probably could have done something had I known, but fuck it.
Yeah.
And then, but really, what really got me is that I'm looking around and I'm seeing all these people and some that I saw that badges, some probably not even as big as us, getting a longer time.
Oh, really?
With certain people. Like some girls came up after me, had a much longer time with this girl, Bo Garrett, than I did. And I'm just, at this point.
Oh, yeah. That would piss me off.
I'm like, you know what? I said, I see how this is now. I was like, they don't see us as important. I mean, I don't know if it's our fault that we're just not marketing ourselves enough, or we just haven't been around long enough.
Goddamn it, Korey,
knows our number.
Goddamn it, Korey, you were in the position to use the race card and go up to that fucking person doing the interviews. You know what? I'm noticing a lot of these white people got 20, 30 minutes with these motherfuckers, and me, 4 minutes. Oh, I know why. I know why. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this. This skin. Black. You got a problem with me being black.
The only thing is everybody was blue in that room. So everybody was neon blue. So, sir, what, you're a Smurf? You're one of the Avatar people?
Right. Everyone was green and yellow. See, I told you should have dressed up as fucking Green Lantern, dude.
I know. If I was in costume.
Yeah.
But, man, the bottom line here with the interviews is that I really do feel like when I saw those people getting more time than me, I was like, I'm not a chump.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm not going to sit up here and tell people, I'm not going to demand that they treat me with better respect or anything. All I'm going to do is simply ask people from here on out, this is our numbers here. This is what we do. This is what we traffic on a monthly basis. With that knowledge, can I get a 10-minute interview with this person at least? Yeah. So that I can get some substance out of it. And if they say no, I'm going to be like, then I'm not interested. Thank you for asking.
And you should do that.
Yeah.
You know, you should that because, I mean, numbers mean everything. And yeah, you can use that logic and just go, look at our numbers. This is the group look at our demographic as far as who's coming to this website. I mean, this is your audience. And a lot of these kids, they're going to talk about it. I mean, we would benefit you guys if you gave us the amount of time that we need to do a proper interview, to make it interesting, to get people pumped up about your film. Lie to them. I mean, that's what I was like, I want people to see this fucking film, and I want to do my best to advertise it the best possible fucking way I can do it. Will you help me? Will you help me do that?
I know. I should just call them up and be like, listen. Listen, Tron baby. I'm talking to a person. Listen, Tron baby, I'm jacking off to your movie right now. I really want people to see this fucking thing. Come on, booby, give me that interview.
I mean, the thing is that when we did the Real Deal, when we did the Tom Savini interview that you and I did,
and it was mostly you that did.
Well, the thing is,
you did a great job with it.
The thing is, I told Tom Savini, because Tom Savini was like, okay, what is this? And he really looked not interested at all as far as what was about to happen. He's like, who are you guys with again? And I was like, well, we do the show on Access Television. He's like, Access Television? That's free, right? And I'm like, yeah. And I could just tell he was already like going, oh, fuck. But then again, and as soon as I just saw that, I was like, yeah, we do an Access Television show, but we have so many viewers, so many watchers. We have people who record our show and send it and fly over to Europe and play it on their Access TV shows. And the thing is, I fucking just made that guy light up when I told him, look, this is who we've interviewed. And I named every guy that you interviewed, Korey. And I told him, I told him.
Made up people.
Yeah,
Tom Cruise.
I was making it, and I was
shit,
like,
Jesus was in here last week.
You do what you gotta do. And I was like, yeah, I mean, and I told him, you know what, we talked to Kevin Spacey and we talked to Kevin Smith just recently. Just like last week. We talked to them.
Yeah, like you just had dinner with him last night.
And you know what, that guy fucking did a 180 and he was like, oh, really? I was like, yeah, we had a long, extensive interview. It was great. We aired it. People took those tapes and took it to other Access shows. I was fucking lying. Yeah, and he was like, I'm ready to do this. He's like, yeah, really? We want to talk about your career. We want to talk just about you. We want to talk about your experiences. And he ate it up. I mean, when we did it, he was all fucking smiles and, it was great.
Yeah, no, yeah, man, I know, and that's good. Maybe you're right. We should probably have to do that. Like I say, I just
lied to them
to get because you know what? They don't know us. You know what? Fucking make that work to your advantage. Here's
the thing, man. I feel like we've all paid our dues, man. We've done this for so many years. I'm tired. I really am. And it's not just the interviews. It's not just Comic-Con. I'm sitting up there waiting in line for like 3 hours to get into something.
That could be a bitch,
really. I've done this Cause we've all done this, but really, I've been the one who's always gone out and chased this shit and tried to get things off the ground and whatnot. I feel like I've really paid my dues.
Yeah.
After over a decade of doing this shit, it's just kind of like, it's either time for people to come to us or fuck it. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of it. I'm sick of this fucking, really to a point. You want me to be honest with you? I'm sick of fucking struggling with this site.
Yeah.
I'm sick of struggling with this, my career with this shit. I'm just fucking sick of doing it all, man.
Dude,
I'm just tired. This is maybe the first time that anybody's ever heard this, but I'm really working myself to death and I'm really fucking getting sick of it. And, I'm tired of doing it with no big payoff. I mean, we get a payoff. So I'm not saying, I'm not complaining. I'm not crying. I'm just thinking I got to rethink some things and figure out what's worth my time, what's worth your time, what's worth everybody's time, and where are my priorities. My priorities are on me now. I'm not chasing after people anymore to get something. Yeah. I've seen people start out the same way we do and gone to do bigger things. And I'm sick of fucking struggling, man.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Sick of it. And it took this Comic-Con to wake me up to that. When I was standing, really after those interviews, I was like, I really do feel like a chump, man. After fucking 10 years of doing this, and after getting to the level of success that we have, I'm still being treated like a nobody. And I can't fucking stand it anymore. Yeah. And also when I was standing in line, waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning, getting out there around 8:15, 8:30, standing in line for 3 hours and still not getting into something I thought would help the site. All this has just brought me to an epiphany, man. It's just, I'm sick of it all. I'm sick of this fucking site.
Yeah.
Really. You want me to be honest with you?
I mean, I understand that. I've been there. I mean, just cause me just being on the sidelines, I mean, I'm in it, but it's like I know you have to deal a lot with it. And the one thing I can say is that, everything that you do in life, I honestly think it should always be a fight. I don't think as soon as you're fine and you're complacent, you're just like, okay, I think that's when things just don't become interesting anymore. You telling me what you just said, I completely understand. I know exactly where you're coming from, but me as your buddy, I'm telling you, dude, you got to pick yourself up and just fucking keep fighting and fuck everyone else. I mean, honestly, what you do today on this show this is what matters right now. Anything I do as far as I think, okay, yeah, I feel like this isn't paying off and I don't know what I'm working towards anymore. I don't know if anybody cares. And that's the big thing that eats away at you. You're just wondering, does anybody really care? Honestly, at the end of the day, does this matter at all to anyone, what I'm trying to do? Does it matter to anyone who I'm working in this industry with as far as what I'm trying to do? And the thing is, that can be fucking poison that you just don't need. And and you just have to tell yourself, you know what? Fuck it. If I feel like this way, this is going to give me some motivation to fucking push myself even further to basically give at the end of the day, so I can give these people who are making me feel like this situation, I could just give them all the big fucking finger and say fuck you when I do make it. Well, honestly, being your friend, I mean, it's it's easier said than done. I get that, but me being your buddy, I'm telling you, dude, but don't leave me behind. Don't leave me behind in any life. Because I'm trying my best to fucking help you, to help this site become bigger and better than it always is. And you always know you got me to depend on if you ever need help. I'm going to pick you up, Korey, and we're going to fucking keep going. We're going to keep doing this shit, because we have to. We have no choice. I've invested too much. I fucking, if this thing goes away tomorrow, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. Besides, keep going.
Man, look, I don't want anybody to worry. I'm not giving up on anything.
I know, because I know you. I'm not worried. I'm not worried because I do know you. You're just venting.
I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated that, wow, you get to, it's like, yeah, you keep fighting, but we fought, man. I fought for fucking years. I mean, this is like, and really, I'm at a point now where, I'm at a point in my life. I'm at an age in my life. And there are things that I think that I could do to probably be successful, and I'm being weighed down with this. Yeah. And it wouldn't be so bad if I thought like this was really, and maybe I'm just having a bad time because I don't want people to think, I don't want to bite the hand that feeds us. I don't want to seem unappreciative. I mean, I'm at a very fortunate point in my life to have this. I mean, I really can't complain.
Yeah. No, we're very lucky. I mean,
No,
just
I know.
just this form that we're doing right now. A lot of people don't have this, and this is like with this show. Let's do this. You know, I never take it for granted that what we have here is something really special and something great. And oh yeah, it is hot in here. But while I was talking to you, Sammy, listen to me.
Tell me.
You know what we built up here, buddy.
Share it with me.
You know, we're very fucking lucky to have this type of format. Sure, anyone can do this, but it takes a special chemistry like ours, I think, to really make it work, to really make it pop.
Definitely.
You know, there's a lot of times when I'm like thinking, hey, does anybody care? But no, I read comments and, you know, I gauge the audience, and even people who normally wouldn't come to our site, they listen to our show, they're like, man, you guys have some fucking great chemistry, and you can really take this even further. Let me there's plenty of avenues to really go down.
I look at, here's the deal. I look at so many people that I've interviewed.
Mm-hmm.
I look at and I'm just gonna call people fucking out, man.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
if you want to do that,
it's just what it is. I mean, I am. I mean, and this isn't calling people out. I just look at all the people, the celebrities, whatnot that I've talked to,
right?
And all at Comic-Con. I'm thinking like, you know, someday we'll be big enough to where, because of all the effort, not because we think that we're that we deserve it. We don't. Yeah. I don't have this sense of privilege or entitlement about this.
I know
it's
you
not
don't.
that, but it's just after so many years, you're thinking like, man, I at some point, all these people that we've interviewed, some of them twice, who don't even remember you, is like, man, you know, someday we'll be at that point where, you know, we'll be respected enough to where at least somebody will not give us a nod and say, you know, what they do is cool. Mm-hmm. And you go somewhere and people don't fucking recognize you anymore. Just like, what was the effort of doing that?
Yeah.
When we did the round table or the press conference for Predators, I'm thinking like, man, I sat in a room with Robert Rodriguez and talked to him. You know, I was like, we were buddies for a few weeks, cartooning together, him calling me over and saying, hey, you know, let me tell you about my first movie. Yeah. I mean, he actually on campus called me over and like said, hey, and you know me, I don't name drop.
No,
I don't fucking name drop ever.
And you told me, you told me this.
And you know, and to go to Predators and have him look at you like he doesn't even know you. Yeah. It's just kind of like, I'm not asking him to come over and spend time with me. I'm not asking him to be a buddy, but to sit up there and just look at you and just fucking walk out like he doesn't even know you. I'm like, the fuck am I doing this for? I mean, this is years of having to deal with this shit. And then I know that we're lucky, man. We traveled the world. We've met friends. I feel very fortunate about that. But at the same time, I'm on this site and I feel like, you know, right when I thought we have a way to actually get ourselves at the next level, I feel like we're stuck at a wall here. Marketing is terrible here. There are certain things like Comic-Con, which nobody realizes the importance of doing something with that. And, you know,
it takes you to tell them, look, this is important. I mean, as far as like, we all want to be on the same page as far as where we want the site to go. I mean, honestly, somebody should even tell them right now, you know, if we plan on being here for another year, this needs to be our priority. Every website on the net goes out of their way to make sure they have full coverage of Comic-Con. And it should be very important. It shouldn't be a last minute thing. Yeah, I just feel like feel lucky that we do this and nobody's, we do whatever we want to do. Nobody says a fucking thing. We are very lucky
that way. But at the same time, I feel like I've just hit a wall with this, and none of us are moving forward, and everything that I have to think of to move forward is hard. Not even because of them. It's just, man, I got to rethink this again and figure out what angle can we do to be successful here. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I'm just venting. Well, you ask me, I'm venting.
And I want you to vent. You got to get that shit out of you.
They want to do, they want us to do more things like video games, but I feel like we don't have it covered in another area, and I feel like I'm just fucking spreading myself thin. And when I say that, nobody takes me seriously, and then I'm gonna have to like one day just fucking blow up, and somebody's gonna like say, what the fuck is wrong with him?
Score postal.
I'm really, people, I'm not tired of you. I'm not tired of, I'm really not tired of the gift that's been given us, because it is. But
we want to be, honestly, we want to, where we're at right now, especially the numbers that we pull in, you know, that is all due to the audience and to the people that come to this site and to the people who, you know, give us great comments, and they give the people who give us the most fucked up comments you can imagine. But, you know, people are paying attention to us, and that's honestly what matters. And, you know, you got to think too, man, because I tell myself this. We got a lot of kids out there that are coming to this site and, you know, digging on it. And those kids are going to be adults. And, you know, and if we're attracting that audience, we have like we have so much potential. We're building an audience. We're building a huge audience, and a lot of it starts with these kids that are going to grow up that are going to remember our names.
Well, here's the deal, man.
It's a good thing.
I've been around at this point in my life. I have been around people. I don't know if you even call them friends. Some are friends, some of them not. But I've been around people who started at the same point that I have, and they have gone on to probably with not even as much effort as I put into something like this, have gone on to bigger and better things. While this is something that anybody would kill to have, it's still a struggle. I'm working 7 days a week. I'm trying to balance all kind of shit, and it just seems like everything is a struggle at this point, and I'm tired of it, man. I mean, really, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm at the point where in about a year, I'm ready to fucking just drop everything and just leave it and just start with something else. Or just
to Africa.
It's all right, yeah. Really, my feelings are shifting even about priorities. I mean, something that like has dawned on me is like, I'm not a big environmentalist, but I feel like I talk a lot of shit about things about problems in the world, and I feel like maybe I feel like I want to just leave something like this and just move to shifting my priorities in life to actually helping some of the causes that I feel important about. I mean, I really don't. And
that's fine. That's great. I think every one of us has something that we want to do. Another direction, something that we care a lot about, and you can always do that, dude. And honestly, you can do both. I mean, you can actually, if you wanted to, you can even use the site to help you do that. If you felt like you needed to do that.
That's the thing. It's just, look, I would be fine. In a couple of days.
Right.
I know. It's been a hard...
I've been there with you.
It's been a hard week, but I'm not lying. I've felt this way in my life before. And...
It happens to everyone.
Well, I felt like this way in my life before. When I start feeling like this, I'm at a point in my life where I'm seriously... I really want something to change. I really want something to change because I'm not going to lie to you. The way I feel right now, it's at that point where I've been serious about leaving. Like when I'm feeling this way, I'm giving myself a year to do something. And if it's not that goal, if I haven't reached that goal by that point, and I feel like it's more dire than any time, then I know I start making plans, I start saving money, I start thinking about things, and then I get up and I just leave one day because I can't take it. I mean, it really is hard. I mean, it really is hard. When I tell people in New York that I'm working 7 days a week, and because I always, maybe it's because I always have to tell them, like, I want you to know I appreciate everything. And I think when I say that, nobody's really taking it seriously. But I am really feeling like I've always been a hard worker. And I feel like all their hard work, if I'm working 7 days a week, I want to feel like I'm not banging my head against a fucking wall. And I feel like that right now. I feel like I'm working for just what we have right now. And I feel like I'm at a point in my life where whatever goals I have time to get done, they're going to pass me by if I don't take it right now. And if this isn't going to take me there, whether it be with this site or whether it be in something else, then I need to fucking leave. Because I can't take it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, and that's very understandable. And I wish there was something that we can do. I mean, maybe after this show, it's one of those things where, maybe we should. I'm always wondering, like, we honestly need to have like a meeting and just really talk about like where we really want this to go, what we can do to make it go. I mean, you got me, you got Leon, you got Cyrus, and you got who am I? What other member am I missing? Leon, Cyrus, Carlisle. Yes, there you go. I'm sorry, but I mean, you got us to help you out, dude. As far as any decisions that you think need to be addressed, what we could do better with the site, I'm all for it. I'm all for having a meeting with all of us and even getting our fucking bosses involved and going, look, this is what we want. This is what we need for the site to be better. We have still expectations for this site, and things are being stagnant right now. We want to know how much you guys are willing to help us with this, these decisions. I mean, there's something we can do. We just need to come up with a fucking plan, because without a plan, there's no fucking attack. Without an attack, there's no fucking victory, Korey.
Well, we've made and I think it just needs to be made important. Like right now,
it does. It really does.
Man,
I mean, I'll be honest with you right now. I was really upset about the whole Comic-Con situation, because I was like, it made me wonder, like, wow, I'm not a genius, but I do know the importance of Comic-Con. I know how important it is on every movie website out there. And I'm just dumbfounded to think why our company hasn't really like gone out of their way to make it a priority that we're all there covering, even if it means just having interns go in, a fucking team of interns going in to cover all this stuff, because it's something people are looking to as far as just information about what we're into. And, and that caters specifically to our audience. Our audience is the same audience that's going to go to every movie that's featured at Comic-Con, that's reading about all this news. And I was blown away that it was kind of just half-assed this year. And I was mad at the company. Because I'm one who, I don't want to bother anyone. I don't want to write whoever I need to write, because I'm like, I don't know where that'll get me. I don't know if that'll just get evil eyes turned towards me because I'm starting the thing, but I'm only going to do that because I give a shit about the website.
Yeah, it wouldn't, for one other person to go, I don't think it would have been that bad. If one other person, just one. We really had, man, I don't know. I can't think of anything right now. I'm not going to like bring all our laundry out there. I'm not, but I don't mind being open with people. I really, people, again, not that I'm sick of anybody out there. It's just, I'm tired of struggling in my life, man. I feel like we're at a point where we've all put a lot of hard work into this, and we should be there at a certain successful level beyond this. I mean, we shouldn't be out there fucking scrambling for crumbs.
I get that. But you know what, Korey? I mean, I'm going to let you know, me personally, I don't mind fighting. I still don't mind. I mean, I still don't mind putting up with that struggle. I'm not tired of it. I mean, I love that, because at the end of the day, when it does work out, it's going to be so rewarding for us, to realize how far we've come.
When is that day going to come?
That's the thing. But that's kind of like, that's just how life is, though. At least that's how I look at life. You don't know when that fucking day is going to come, but I know if I could, even in other things that I've done in my life, if I would have just given up at a certain point, I probably wouldn't have achieved those goals that I have achieved. Being on this show is one of them. Just doing what I can. I mean, you told me at the get-go, like, oh, you guys are going to have a robot on this show. Why? What's the significance of that? When you let me know that, people weren't all that crazy about having a robot just be on the show, just kind of hanging out, I used that. Like, hearing that gave me like fucking fuel for my fire to show, well, you're not going to regret that decision. Even you bringing me on, I was like, you're not going to regret that. And even getting on these reviews, it made me go like, I'm glad I'm struggling to make it what I am making it, because at the end of the day, it's going to be what I did. It's going to be what the hard work, the sweat, the doubts in my head, as far as, are people going to appreciate this? Are people not? You're going to think about that, but all that is, it's like you're setting up walls for yourself. And I realized I can't have that framework, because it's going to be me hitting my head on every single one of those walls. It's going to drive me crazy. And I can't think about that. I can't fucking think about that. I got to think about the ultimate goal and what I have to fucking do to get there.
Well, no, it definitely.
And I know you do that. I know you do that.
While I'm talking, I'm switching gears right now. I'm always making plans, but it's just, man, like I said, I'm, people have to. I don't care if people know.
Yeah.
I'm not my.
Don't worry about them.
I'm not my 20s anymore.
Yeah.
I really have things that I still would like to try, and it's right now. This feels more like a roadblock than it does. But at the same time, after this week, I've already put things in motion where, we just have to rethink our game plan too. Because one thing about all of this, it's at some point, it really does make you stronger. It makes you strong enough to tell people, you know what, fuck you.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you with full honesty right now, there's probably only one or two celebrities that I would give a shit about, and those are people that have had influence in my life. Other than that, celebrities mean nothing to me.
Yeah, and they shouldn't.
Yeah, authority means nothing to me. Anybody, it gets to a point where you either feel like you're worthless because you're being treated like you're worthless, or you perceive you're being treated like you're worthless, or you have a greater sense of self-worth after it's done. And I'm never somebody that feels sorry for themselves and thinks that, oh, I'm nobody. They told me I'm nobody. I feel like I'm nobody. I'm nobody. No, it actually does make you feel like, man, I just really have to go out and do something better. Yeah. I mean, no matter what point in your life, you can either lay down and die, you can keep going.
And I refuse that. And I think you and I, our personalities, we will never.
And nobody ever is going to make me feel, you're right. Yeah. Nobody ever is going to make me feel like I'm not worthy of anything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I really do have to figure out how to move forward, because otherwise I'm really going to go, I'm going to go crazy, man.
And
this shit is already driving me to drink and all kind of shit. I can't. I can't.
Well, we do that anyway. But
well, there's a reason why I do it more. Just,
if I see, I haven't seen you do that, I mean, I understand, when it happens, it happens. But you really have to get your mind away from that negative and just think about your ultimate goal. I mean, and I know you've thought that, and like I said, it's easier said than done. But the thing is, you can't give up on that fucking goal, man. You really can't, because it's gonna consume you if you don't have that clear.
I feel like I'm consumed by something. I feel like I'm consumed by this, and it's
then it's time to fucking swim the fuck out of there. I mean, it's time for you to really crawl yourself out of that hole. And do it the best you can, man, and just think on the fucking positive. And if you got other things you need to do, that's why I always tell people, you know what? It's always great to have a hobby. I think every person in this fucking world needs to honestly have a hobby that is completely separate and has nothing to fucking do with what you're doing every day. Because if you don't have that, you're going to be consumed with what you're doing, and if it's not making you happy, it's really going to eat you up.
That's the problem, man. I don't have time to do anything else, and that's what I have to do. I have to figure out a way
to make time. You need to figure out how to really. Honestly, your goal, Korey, is to find a way to make time for that. You really fucking have to, man. And I've told you that before. Because I mean, I've been in that position, and it just doesn't help, man. It's like I was in a nasty place. I don't even want to talk about it because it's the past, and I don't like looking at it. But the thing is, you do have to find that hobby, that something that you care about, something that you're passionate about. You fucking love to draw. Spend like 10 minutes drawing something that you just want to fucking do. I mean, something that will trigger something in your head. Keep doing it, and I'm sure it'll help. It'll be like therapy, man. Dude, you get involved in shit you love. You love watching fucking those Dolomite movies. Watch those Dolomite movies, dude. Fucking watch the shit out of them. And dude, I guarantee you'll feel 100% better, man. And as far as like fucking celebrities, honestly, I'm still dealing with that, Korey. When I go to a lot of these screenings and I have reviewers and stuff, I still have people who have seen me a billion times that still don't even give me the time of day. But you know what? I don't give a shit, because I know exactly what I'm doing. I know I have what I do a good job. People compliment me, and that's nice, even though I'm my own worst critic, and I know I can do better. There's times when I shut down and I'm thinking, that review, I could have made that so much better. And the thing is, it's like, I can't think about it. And when I read a comment where somebody is like, that wasn't really good. I don't like how co-host doesn't explain this. That can eat me up, but I have to just remember, no, fuck that. I can't think about that. All I can think about is the next fucking thing I do and make that fucking better, at least for me. Yeah, somebody's going to point that fault in me, and I know it exists, but the thing is, I can't dwell on that. I got to think, you know what? I have another opportunity, and I'm going to have another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. Every time I record, every time I do something, I'm going to have another opportunity to fucking lift myself up, to put myself where I want to be. It may not be easy,
I know,
but I have every opportunity to do that, man. And I think you do too.
And I have to say, Hollywood.com, they've been very generous with a lot.
They've been great.
Yeah. No, I don't want anybody to think that, but
I was just happy to have a fucking job after our last contract. I was like, wow. Some fucking company's gonna spend money on us again. All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm down. No, it's good. I mean, Spill.com, they came and asked. Mm-hmm. I mean, they gave us money for that, and it went off well enough to where they saying, can we do one sooner? And have another one on top of that?
Yeah.
Or can't we do one in London? And, they would. So, I mean,
that's fucking positive, dude. I know.
I know. But I have to really, here's what I'm going to have to do. I'm really just going to have to change directions here, and maybe we can't concentrate so much on, oh man, we got to get this interview, or we got to do this coverage on this. No, we need to think about things like that and address it, but I just have to quit worrying about who's making me feel like a chump and who isn't, We have to refocus this site to this site. This site could be stronger than what it is right now if I really think about what new content we can bring to it and everything. I don't know.
I'm always down for that, dude. I'm always and I'm always willing to give you ideas if you're wanting to listen. I mean, and you shoot ideas back and forth. I'm down with that because honestly, I don't think we've done that in a while. And
no, we haven't.
You know, and the thing is, and I understand because we're all busy, but please, Korey, as far as those other fucking people, those directors, whatever, fuck them, dude. Because you know what? There's plenty of stories out there where people have been put through the same shit with their so-called peers, you know, only for them to rise up to even a bigger status, you know. But you know what? The thing I respect about them is they don't let that shit haunt them. They just like, yeah, so-and-so, yeah, he didn't pay any attention to me. But you know what? Yeah. What do I give a fuck? You know what? My favorite scene in a movie called Mean Streets, Robert De Niro directed. You know, there's a scene where a kid in there has a bunch of baseball cards. And the kid is like, you know, he's hanging out with his baseball cards, and this mobster comes up, and this gangster is like, you know, what's the big deal with those cards? He's like, oh, these are all my heroes. It's like, why? Why do you care about those people? And he's like, well, I just like them, and they're my heroes. Do they put food on your table? No. Then why do you need to give a shit about them? You know? And I was like, wow, that's pretty profound. It's like you build these people up in your head, you know, and for what reason? I mean, what are they really doing for you? You know, they're playing a game that you could easily go play yourself, and you can easily rise up. They were just like you at some point. Yeah, so why are you giving these people, you know, the big grandiose persona that you assume that they have? Why give them that? Why give them that power? You know, and that's how I've always looked at things. And I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, this person I've hung out with, but you know, they're not even recognizing me. I mean, there's a huge movie icon reviewer that's been in this town for I don't know how long, and I've been around him a good part of this whole career of doing what I do. That guy never once gave me any iota that he knew I existed or even cared. We've ran around the same circles. I mean, to me, I'm probably paint on the wall of this guy, of his room. I've been around him his whole life. I watched his career, and this guy's never said a hello to me in his fucking life. But you know what? I don't let that get me down because honestly, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand. It's not a matter of like getting the respect of these people or getting an acknowledgement. Yeah. It's just
because you know they're assholes. So why do you even want to be associated?
Well,
with
no, it's not that. It's just like you see, like I said, you see the amount of work that you put in that somebody else has put into.
That's true.
And you just get tired of working, man. That's all. And like I said, I'm working 7 days a week. I can't even fucking do what I need to do because I'm doing so many fucking podcasts, and that's about to end soon. I mean, I can't. Something's gonna happen. Something's gonna give, and something has to go. And I'm about to address all that shit too. But I'm just fucking tired. That's all. But it's okay. I'll be all right. I'll be all right next week.
Yeah, we'll be.
I ain't going anywhere, man.
But it's good. You know,
anytime soon. You know,
I'm fucking glad you're getting this out because you need to, man. I'm glad this is the best way to do it, man. I mean, this is great. You know,
and people, I told you, I can't give away 100% of my life, but you know, we're fucking real.
No, oh yeah.
And if I'm feeling this way, you know,
I think we proved that.
Yeah, you know, if I'm feeling this way, I'm sorry if I pissed anybody off. I pissed any of our, you know, any of our leaders up in New York off. I'm sorry. I just fucking real, man. I've always been that way. I can't hide it. You know, it's gotten me in trouble sometimes.
And the thing is,
I'm fucking tired. I'm getting sick of this site. I'm tired. I'm being honest with you.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I mean, dude, we all have, despite everything that's going on, we all, at least I think we all share the same goal, and I honestly think we should all be on the same page, you know, as far as where we want the site to be. And it depends on every individual involved how much they really care to make it happen. You know, that's at least what I. That's
maybe it's just that I see. I see certain problems on the site too that just, and it's nobody's fault really. It's just that we're so limited in our resources. And I see those things just taking a long time to get fixed, and I see our growth just being slowed down. At least I perceive it being slowed down. I don't know. I'm not up there with those guys in New York all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not with them every day of the week like they are with each other, so I can't really come in and pass judgment on how much they're doing things to get done. It just seems like there's a lot of stuff to get done, and it's hard for them, just like it's a struggle for me to do things here. And it just seems like everything right now, everything is such a struggle to get done, and just tired of struggling, man. Yeah. I really just, but you know, there's days where I see our progress being made, granted incrementally, but it's happening, and I just have to kind of take that into account. But I feel like, man, it's been over 10 years. You know, it's been close to fucking almost 20. I mean, it's like, I guess about 15 years. You know, we started doing this shit in 95, man.
Yeah.
And at this point in my life, I'm like 15 years in. We've made some progress, but if I still have to struggle this hard to where I'm still not sleeping, I'm still exhausted.
Yeah.
And I'm working harder than I ever have in my life, even though it's something that's the control is nice, having things given in your hand, to take in a certain direction that you see fit. And it's nice to have people trust you that much. But to have this kind of workload
it's crazy.
You work that hard for a few years trying to reach a goal to where you still work hard, but you're not working that hard. And at this point, after all those years, it's like it's not fun to wait another few years to think that I'm going to reach this certain point. I don't have any more years for that. I don't. I barely have 1 year left in me to do this. And really, I mean, if I'm in the same position that I'm in next year, and I hate to say this to people, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but if I am in the same position as I am in next year, mark my words here. I can't be here anymore. I have to bail out. I have to find something else to do. If I have to go out and struggle again, it'll have to be a struggle in a different place. The money I can kiss goodbye at a certain point.
Yeah, if you're not happy, you're not happy. I mean, I don't think. Money.
I mean, I will start over. I was at a point in my life one time where I had my parents to fall back on and whatnot, but I don't like to depend on them. But I came down to like having nothing, and I didn't want to beg anybody for anything. So I'm not scared to start over my life financially. I mean, I was almost flat broke. I don't want to ask my father for anything because my father just would have thought I was, a loser, because he never expected a whole lot out of me in the first place. And I was able to like just start over. And I'm willing to take that risk again.
And you know what? You're extremely, you're blessed to do that. I mean, I know. I mean, I'm not going to be worried. If the thing is, if it comes to the point where you're not happy, I'll support any decision you make, and I will deal with it. And I know I'm going to be fine.
But I'm going
to be completely fine. I don't have nothing to worry about.
But I'm not going to leave anybody in the lurch. I mean, hearing this for all I know, Hollywood might, because I don't think Jamie listens to it this far, and I don't think because he'll be the only one listening. Tell everybody up there about it. I don't think anybody's going to listen to this and start getting up in arms about anything. But if they do, I think they'd be willing to sit me down and make plans on what can we do to keep this going.
If they care about us,
if you're not here,
and
I don't know, maybe I should start having that talk with them, because really, and again, don't take this as me being full of myself, but I've often asked myself, as grim as it would be, if I died tomorrow, a lot of things would collapse right now, and that's one of the problems with me as it is. But I don't know, I'll figure it out. And I am very lucky. Don't get me wrong, people. I'm very lucky, and I'm trying to find a way to turn that, make that luck, put a different coat of paint on that luck, and
that's all you can
new.
do. Yeah, that's all you got to do, man.
I really even hate talking like this, because there are a lot of people who would love to be in this position, and I don't need to take that for granted.
No. But you know what? Hey, dude,
these people for granted either.
But the thing is, I mean, you have a brain, you have emotions, and this shit happens. It happens a lot, and it's good that you're talking about it, instead of keeping it bottled in, because that won't do any good. If you one day we get a phone call and something had happened, we're like, what? But I'm glad you're saying this, because
he's up in New York shooting up the office.
Really?
SWAT team? You see, fucking the Empire State Building like King Kong.
I'm flying over my camera. This make a badass movie.
See me fucking running naked through the city with a Batman cape on.
I was like, look at Korey right there. I told you.
Lost it.
I told you last night, Leon, this shit was gonna happen. I told you. Where's my $5?
I know.
This shit just got real.
Gonna see me running in the middle of the street naked like Martin Lawrence and shit with a gun in my hand.
Cloverfield with Korey. Holy shit! Somebody get a camera over here. Come on.
Shit, yeah, I ain't joking. You'll see me running through the fucking city with a Batman cape on. No, I'm Batman. Dick hanging all out and shit.
I know,
we finally lost it.
Oh man.
Hey man. Hey people, you know what? Hey, good times here though. No, really, nothing bad. Nothing bad at all.
There's probably one kid out there. Man, Korey, don't be telling me your problems.
Like, you're depressing me.
I'm sorry.
This is the one time, Korey, I'll let you tell me your problems. All right.